Alright guys, welcome back to another awesome tutorial on object-oriented PHP programming language. For this tutorial, I'm going to teach you guys about something which is called interface. Let's get started by defining what does an interface mean. So interface, let's just take it at the first, like what does an interface means. It is an intermediate between some entity, right? Think of a scenario that I'm using this keyboard to type here, I'm using this mic to talk to the computer here, or to talk to you guys, okay? So I'm using this thing what as an interface. That's what interface refers to. So the same thing happens in object-oriented programming. Interface acts like an intermediate between two classes. Actually there are built-in interfaces in PHP. Just let me show you one of the built-in interfaces in a PHP called countable. So let's try to make this function here. So let's try to create a collection. A collection. Okay, so let's create a class called collection here, and let's also make an item of array type. Okay, and let's try to make a function called public function add that will add elements into this array, and let's try to make the function called set that will set value for this particular array. So let's provide a value here, and let's try to set this value to this item. So I'm going to use this item and I'm going to assign to a value. Okay, the other thing is going to be first of all, I have to access this index, so I will use square braces here. The other thing is going to be I'm going to set a value. So to set a value, I'm going to use two things. So I'm going to use the key and the value. It's going to be this item with this key, and I'm going to provide the value here. So it means I'm updating the values here. So let's try to make this thing out. So what we are going to do now, I'm going to show you guys. Just let me come to my page here for the index page, and let me try to require this file, which is going to be ma.php, and let me try to create an object of a collection, and let's call this thing $C, which is going to be a new collection here. So let's try to add elements here. So let me add 2 here, let me add 3 to my arrays element here. So to see what's happening here, let me create a function that will allow us to display the arrays there. Okay, so let's call this thing get all. We don't pass any arguments here, but rather I'm going to return print r, and I'm going to pass the item here, which is going to be this item. So let me reload this page. Before that, let me call this function, which is going to be C, which is going to be get all. Let me close this thing and let me reload this page. There is some syntax error, which is going to be on line 9. I don't know what's yeah, I forget this thing out. So let me refresh this page. Again, there is another error on line 4. What is that error will be? I have to assign visibility for this thing, which is going to be protected for my case here. So let me come and reload this page. So 2 and 3 are added into my arrays here. So what we want to do, let me show you a built-in interface which comes with PHP programming language. So whenever you want to implement an interface, you are going to use the keyword called implement, and you are going to supply, or you are going to give the interface name. So the interface name to count the number of arrays is going to be countable. So let's use a function from this interface. So let's make a public function count, and let's try to return the count of this array, which is going to be this item. So let's come here and let's try to call this method here. So I don't need this get all because I just know what's happening on the scene, and let's call this method called count, and let's echo this out. So it's supposed to return 2 because I have 2 elements in my array. So let me come and reload my page. It will display 2 here. So this is what an interface does. So on the next tutorial, I'm going to show you how to create your own interface just by forgetting about the using the built-in ones. Okay, so till we meet on the next tutorial, keep on liking, keep on subscribing, keep on sharing my videos with your friend. Peace and love, ciao.